You trust data, right? Let me tell you how a machine just caught scientists playing favorites with their own numbers. The AI didn't just read a study, it actually cross-checked the data in the paper against the human body itself and found a trillion-to-one blunder that changed everything. This is a revolution in AI where now AI is actually checking scientific theory against real-world data and proving scientists wrong. Let's break down how an algorithm is fixing what the scientific process forgot. I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist, and I'm building AI Capitalist to talk to the leaders and the thinkers, like you, about navigating this brave new world of thinking machines. So in this case, there was a scientific paper that declared a specific gene as the causal culprit, the root cause behind high LDL cholesterol, which is your bad cholesterol that's linked to heart disease and all sorts of cascading layers in your body over time. Now, what researchers did is they built an AI agent directly from that paper that disagreed with the researcher's own conclusion. It didn't just mildly question the conclusion, it presented hard evidence in the same data set that points to a different gene entirely. And the kicker is that the AI didn't hallucinate. It cross-referenced the paper's own data against real-world genetic databases like GTEx, which is the gold standard for human gene expression. And it found that while the paper emphasized certain genes, the data strongly favored a different gene. The paper's conclusion was almost certainly wrong. It wasn't just a typo. This is a fundamental shift because your research paper isn't a static document anymore. It's an interactive agent that can re-examine its own findings with a single prompt. So if you want to test a study's conclusion and whether that holds up, now you can ask the agent and it'll rerun the analysis, compare the independent data, and then it'll tell you if the fact that you've trusted coming out of this paper might need updating or be. What this is doing is democratizing science. A biologist without a computer science degree can now run the same complex analyses that the paper's authors did, and they can even catch their mistakes. Okay, so let's dive in. Figure 1 first. This is the one that sets the stage for everything else. This is the system architecture diagram. And what makes it interesting is how it shows the transformation from static to dynamic. Researchers were trying to solve this massive problem. Research papers are passive documents. They just sit there waiting for someone to figure out how to actually understand them and use them. The variables are pretty straightforward. You have the input of the research papers that's coming in. You have core repositories, which is the data. And then you have the output, which is interactive AI agents that can actually do things. What you're looking at is basically a flowchart style diagram with 2 main parts. They choose this visual format because it needed to show both the big picture concept and a detailed workflow. Figure 2 shows what happens when the system actually works on real scientific problems. This one focuses on something called alpha genome, which is basically, it's an AI that can predict how genetic mutations might affect your body. And the experiment set up here was testing whether their AI agent could match the accuracy of human experts, which is doing the same sort of analysis tasks. The bar charts at the bottom are probably the most striking part because they show 100% accuracy on both familiar and novel queries and tasks. It's like a visual proof. This is validation. They're proving that this isn't just memorizing answers, it's actually understanding the underlying science. Now at the bottom, the AI agent literally creates a to-do list for analyzing genetic variants, and then it works through it step by step and automatically refines its approach as it goes. It's like having a brilliant research assistant who never gets tired and always double checks their work. In figure 3, their system is mapping gene activity across different parts of biological tissues. And this experiment was all about testing whether their agent could produce the exact same results that human researchers got when analyzing the same spatial biology data. Now, figure 4 is using a process flow diagram, and it's comparing detailed results. Lots of scatter plots and heat maps, but they chose this format because single-cell analysis is very visual. You have to see the data clustering patterns. But what's relevant to everybody here is the chain of tools concept shown in the middle panel. The AI doesn't just run one analysis. It runs a sequence of steps in exactly the right order, and it adapts as needed to discover what it can find about your specific data set. And what is that the AI agent converged with the humans. You see the AI agent on the left and humans on the right, and these heat maps and cluster plots are pretty much the same. And what's striking me is about all these figures together is how they reveal what the future of scientific research is going to look like. They're not just about making existing tools easier to use, they're fundamentally changing how knowledge moves from discovery to application. Instead of papers gathering dust in journals, we're making a living and breathing research assistant that can embody the knowledge and can help you apply it to new problems right away. And if you're getting value from this episode, I'd appreciate it if you push the like button. Lets me know I'm making content you want to see, and it spreads it to others. So thank you for helping us build AI Capitalist. So what gets me about this whole cholesterol gene thing, it's like watching someone politely raise their hand in the back of a lecture hall and say, I think you might actually be wrong about that. Here's what happened. The original alpha genome researchers published this paper saying that when you have a specific genetic variant that's linked to high cholesterol, the culprit genes are probably CLSR2 and PSRCI. Okay, those are just the names of the genes. Makes sense, right? They did their analysis, they published their findings, and everyone just moved on. But then this AI agent comes along and basically says, hold up, I'm looking at the same data, and I think that sort 1 is actually the main gene active here. And when they went back and double-checked using completely independent data from something called GTEX, the AI was spot on. The variant was, in fact, a minor controller of sort 1 expression in liver tissue. So why is this revolutionary? It's not just because the AI disagreed with humans, but because this represents something that we haven't really had before. The ability to systematically re-examine every published conclusion at grand scale. Right now, when scientists publish a paper, that interpretation becomes frozen in time. Other researchers might eventually challenge it, but that takes years and sometimes decades to hash out. Most findings just sit there unchallenged because who has the time or resources to go back through and reanalyze everything? But now, you can just ask an AI agent, hey, look at this paper's conclusions again with fresh eyes and with all the data that we have now. And that's basically what happened here. It's unsettling, but in a good way. So let's say that we could take every psychology study from the replication crisis era and then run them through agents that could spot methodological issues or alternative interpretations of data. What about economics that shape policy decisions? It really flips the peer review process on its head too, because right now peer review happens before publication. Experts look at your work and they say, yes, that looks good, or nope, try again. But what Paper 2 Agent is suggesting is that this continuous peer review can happen. Every paper could be constantly re-examined by AI agents that never get tired or have confirmation bias, and they have access to all the latest data and methods. Now, if AI agents can systematically re-examine scientific conclusions, we might discover that a lot of what we think we know is just one valid interpretation among many. That's both terrifying and exciting because it means our knowledge base might be shakier than we thought, but there might be discoveries hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone or some agent to just ask the right questions. Scientific knowledge is no longer static. It's going to become fluid, or at least flow a lot faster than it's been flowing until now. And if you want to know how these can be applied to business situations, you can come over to aicapitalist.biz and we'll talk business.